How long have you been in Fort McMurray?
I've been in Fort McMurray since I was 12. So, without giving away my age, it's close to around 40 years.
So one thing I find about Fort McMurray is that it's not quite what people think. There's a lot more going on. There's a lot more culture, and there's definitely a lot to do. What's it like raising a family here?
Well, I definitely agree with what you just said, and that Fort McMurray sometimes gets portrayed in a way that maybe doesn't give it the justice that it deserves. Raising a family here is great. I think it's a community that has everything to offer that you would want to do with your kids. From, there's tons of after school things to do. There's lots of sports to do. We have great facilities like McDonald Island. There's lots of opportunity for things to do with your family here on a weekly basis.
Tell me about your business. What do you do?
I'm in the construction business, but I'm in more of the residential building, commercial development type of business. We are what would be known as COVID company. We started in 2020 when the pandemic hit and everyone shut down. We thought it was a good time to open up. Probably not by choice, but more of a needing to survive. You either have the opportunity in life that you can look for assistance from government, or you can take the reins and do it yourself. Well, we decided that it was a good opportunity, and that even though COVID was going to raise a lot of challenges, that I think that we knew that we could, if we did it correctly, that we could be one of the only people that maybe were still open and operating, and it ended up working out well for us. As you know, when people sat at home, they started building up bank accounts because they weren't able to travel. They were tired of staring at old kitchens, so people started doing home renovations. So we just really, never saw any lull in it at all. From the time that we started in June of 2020 to today, every year we've constantly increased our revenue by 25% or more.
Nice.
So it's been good so far.
What do you see Fort McMurray at? Are we growing? Are we stagnant?
I think Fort McMurray's always got that. It's one of those cities where it has to be doing something. Like if it's not booming, it's dying, which, every other city gets the advantage of just steadily growing, but Fort McMurray is always that boom or bust people think. But, booms aren't good for a lot of things, the real estate market, stuff like that, where, you get into it when people are overpaying for prices for houses, and then they correct themselves. So I think Fort McMurray is like, if you look around, it's constantly growing, but just not at the rate that happens that people are used to it sometimes. So they then feel that it's not growing. But there's constantly new development coming. There's new stores opening. There's new restaurants showing. So, I think overall, I think we're going in the right direction.
What advice do you have for people getting in the business?
People always ask me, do you wish you would have done it sooner, or do you wish, I always think timing is a big thing in life, right? The things happen, but it's one of those things also that you have to be willing to know that when you're going to be your own boss, you have to be willing to put in the time and understand that it's not for everyone, and it's a full-time 24-hour a day, 7-day a week kind of thing. You don't get to go home and be like, I'm off. But I think that if it's something that you want, and I tell my kids all the time, I don't really care what you do for a living, just find something that you really enjoy doing, and something that I believe, because before I got into construction, I sold real estate for 10 years.
Yeah.
I like careers or jobs or whatever, where the harder you work, the more you benefit from it. Where your hard work shows off in what you can bring home.
Where do you see Fort McMurray 5-6 years from now?
It's a really good question. I think, financially, we all wish we had a crystal ball, right?
Yeah.
Everyone always says, if I could get one more boom, I'd know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So I think, if we keep going slow and steady wins the race, there's some good things going on. I like what Brian Jean has talked about, about trying to, limit the fly out. I think that Fort McMurray sometimes gets used as that, as the place to make the money, but not spend the money.
Or retire here. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was to criticize us, we don't develop this community for people. I think if we shift our focus on smaller things making community, so do you think we could develop that a little bit better, the quality of life for people?
Yeah, I think it comes up a lot that a lot of times, like you said, the focus is on how do we get more people to come here.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it needs to shift up. What do we do for the people that have decided to stay here?
Yes.
Let's, if you do that, it's kind of like that old Kevin Costner movie. If you build it, they will come. People will find their way here and want to stay here if there's more here. So spend that on taking care of the people that do call Fort McMurray home. I always thought, like down when they did that Snai revitalization, why didn't they put a beach there? And where people could go and you don't have to drive out, 5 minutes.
Yes.
You just, like in Edmonton, down to Horlock Park, whatever like that. That place is packed on the weekend on a hot day. So you sit down there, have a picnic and stuff like that. So just little tiny things that make more things to do in a community, right?
Okay, final question. Someone wants to move here. What would you say?
I would say pack up your bags and get here. It's the land of opportunity. I'm living proof that, there's lots of opportunity in Fort McMurray. I always say that there's so much in this community for you to do or work, or, you hear of people that are looking for work in different places of the country and stuff. And I think before it was maybe the high house prices was the detriment, and that meant high rent. High basement suite rent. So now that's kind of came in, I think it makes it more affordable for people to move here. And I think we need some of the plant sites to start pushing the relocation packages instead of the air flight, the fly in, fly out. We got jobs here and you're going to make 6 figures, but you're going to have to take a relocation and come up. I think that would be a big thing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.